What's up everyone, Saintsfan back again with another Q&A, and today I'll be answering a bunch of questions from Twitter that you guys had about this leaked DLC that's apparently coming tomorrow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my video. I literally posted about an hour and a half ago. There was a major leak from someone that said there's going to be a racing DLC coming tomorrow. And one interesting thing, and I did talk about this about 3 weeks ago maybe, but FunMW2 did post maybe this could be part of the transform races that were cut from the last DLC featuring the Kraken, or it wasn't from the last DLC, I don't think. It was from a previous DLC, but there were transform races featuring the Kraken and the Submersible. So this could have something to do with that, and I'm really thinking that it will. And I don't like that, but I don't see Rockstar listening to what we want and adding like a street style DLC. But hey, they could prove me wrong. Anyway, getting into the questions this week. The first one from Taylor: how much money will I need? Well, assuming that it's a smaller scale update and it's only going to be races and, like Yan said, about 20 or 12 or so cars, I would say probably 15 to 20 million, which sounds like a lot if you want to buy everything, but compared to the gun running, or compared to the Smuggler's Run, the Doomsday, you know, those were like 50, 60 million. 20 million ain't too bad. Just because I feel like these cars will range between 500,000 to 2 million, depending if they're a sport or a super or something else. And then obviously you have the customization. So probably like 20 million if you want to buy everything. But I would say if you have like 5 million, you know, you can buy probably the 2 best vehicles or something and then work your way up. But you do got to realize if there are going to be 12 or so vehicles, probably 8 of them are going to be drip fed, if not more. So you'll have time to acquire money. So it's not going to be one of those updates where you need to spend a ton of money right off the bat. But that's my guess, about 20 million or so. Then we have Alex: do you think that this update could be an illegal underground race update with multiple Benny's cars and new lowriders? That's the dream. That's what I think. I really haven't seen one person say, you know what, I want this to be a Transform Races Part 2 or a Cunning Stunts Part 3. I have not seen a single person say that. I've seen everyone basically say they want this next, if it is a racing DLC, like if the leaks are true, they want it to be a underground or a street themed racing system or DLC theme. But the problem, I don't think Rockstar are going to do that because it doesn't look as cool. It doesn't look as flashy in the trailers, right? If they have a trailer of these crazy stunt races switching from cars to underwater to planes, that looks way cooler to the casual fan. But a street race DLC, they're like, okay, it's just racing. Despite how it may be amazing and or how it looks really cool to us people who play the game every day. That's what I'm sort of thinking though, is going on behind the scenes. But yeah, that would be amazing. Ethan: do you think the Viserys and the Pariah will be nerfed? It would not surprise me. The Pariah especially. I don't think the Viserys is too OP, but the Pariah definitely is. And I think because a lot of people bought the Pariah, I could totally see Rockstar nerfing it and then having some new sports car be the #1. So they have to buy that again. That's just a Rockstar thing to do. So be on the lookout for that. Would not surprise me if that happens. Megan: after the giant influxes of money they've given us, a racing DLC seems kind of small. I grinded for hours to save up for some racing, or for like a racing DLC. Like that doesn't sound right. And you're right, it doesn't. They definitely have given us ways to make money, and especially with the heists, you know, the last DLC was a great way to make money. But it does make sense though. I guess the last 3 DLCs were major DLCs, and this one, I think it would be kind of hard for Rockstar to have like a year and a half full of major DLCs, especially with Red Dead 2 coming out at the end of this year. So I guess it does make sense, but it is also kind of disappointing. I guess we'll have to save that money until like the summertime when the next major DLC hopefully comes out. One Film: do you think we'll get any new weaponized vehicles? If we don't, something's wrong with Rockstar. They've lost their minds, man. They've actually become sane again, because the last DLC, they added weapons that aren't even good. They added like little pea shooters to the cars just to make them more expensive. I think they also somewhat did it so you could use it in your Avenger or your MOC, but it is kind of annoying when they add these weaponized, or these weapons to these cars that don't need it at all. But it would really shock me if we don't get any. I mean, as much as I want just to have some new Benny's cars, if we don't get a vehicle that's like 3.5 million that has some sort of weapon on it, I think Rockstar may be losing their mind, because like I said, they see that those weaponized vehicles make them the most amount of money, and despite what people's opinions are on the weaponized vehicles, they still buy them, you know. So yeah, I would expect some weaponized vehicles in this update. Ready the Teddy, would the cars be similar to the Salt and the Rest and the Banshee 900R, as in being most Benny's cars? Look, and this actually will tie in with this next question from Paul. He goes, what kind of cars do you expect tomorrow? I guess he wants the Dodge Demon, you know, the Camaro ZL1, Toyota Supra, obviously the Supra. Come on, if that doesn't come, Rockstar have also lost their minds. All right, because that's one of the cars people wanted from like the beginning of GTA. It was in San Andreas, and it's such a perfect vehicle and such a fan favorite vehicle that people would love it. But it wouldn't surprise me if we get some fan favorite vehicles, you know, maybe like some GTA 4 cars. I've seen some people say like the GTA 4 Coquette, or even the PMP, right? That's a vehicle that you would think would be in the game. But the one issue I have, and I said this in my Discord, the one issue that I have with Rockstar adding, or the one issue I see with Rockstar adding Benny's vehicles, is those money glitches. Now, I don't know much about them, but apparently there are some pretty major glitches involving duplication of vehicles that involve Benny's. And I don't think, unless Rockstar patched them some way, but apparently they've been patching them and people just keep coming up with new ways to do it, unless they figure out some ultimate patch to this, I could see Rockstar not adding more Benny's vehicles to the game. Now, what could end up happening is, like they've done the last few DLCs, like the Camacho, for example. I would say it has a Benny's type or style of customization. It's got a ton of customization, but it's not in Benny's. It's just in regular Los Santos customs. And I think the reason they're doing that is to try and get people to not pay attention to Benny's. They don't want people looking up Benny's and then seeing a money glitch. They just want people looking up the car and seeing the customization. So it would not surprise me if Rockstar didn't include any Benny's vehicles, but the vehicles they did include had a ton of customization. It kind of sucks because I like going into Benny's. It's kind of cool to go in there in the atmosphere, right? The, you know, nice looking garage and getting your car customized, but it would not surprise me if they didn't do that. So that's the only issue I see arising with Benny's vehicles. They don't want to, you know, it's such a stupid thing too, because you would think just fix the game, fix these bugs, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But that's unfortunately not what happens. They just like to put it to the side or bury it and hope no one, you know, or not many people find it. Then we have Quiet XO. Do you think this update could be themed around off-road or street racer themed, as most of the community has requested this? Also, the Doomsday Heist added vehicles like these. Yeah, that's another thing I've seen. The Doomsday Heist, we had the couple of, you know, off-road vehicles, and then we also had a couple of, you know, racing vehicles, and we also had a couple of electric vehicles. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see some more of those, right? If we had some sort of off-road racing races, if we had some, I don't know, I guess street racer, that's just regular cars. But I think that's the best way of going about it, because then you could appeal to everyone. You can put in some street racing stuff, some off-road racing stuff, some stunt racing stuff, some transform racing stuff, right? And then you'd have a good variety of vehicles. So that's kind of another thing I've seen, and it makes sense, you know, from Rockstar's perspective. And then the final question from Spencer: do you think it will be Tuners and Outlaws or something like that? Well, about, what was it, a year and a half ago maybe, since that Ultimate fan trailer, I think it's got like 3 million views. And when it comes to fan made or fan requested stuff, Rockstar, they do look at it. And if it gets enough attention, they will add it to the game. Prime example is the Bikers DLC. There was a huge petition. You know, a lot of people in the community signed it. A lot of people were promoting it. And a couple of months later, boom, the Bikers DLC came out. So I think Rockstar noted that, right? I think maybe at the time they were working on the Smuggler's Run, the gun running, and the Doomsday Heists. So they weren't really focused on it, but they're like, all right, there's a lot of people who like this, who want to see this in the game. Let's put a pin in it and we'll come back to it. And maybe that's what they're doing with this. The only problem is I really would want that to be one of the major DLCs. And I hope that it's almost not the case, because I don't want them sort of half-ass the DLC. I don't want them to just put in some racing stuff, some cars, and be like, yo, there's your Tuners and Outlaws DLC. I want it to be like a full-fledged Cops and Robbers style DLC, but I don't know if we're going to get that. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, what do you guys, or what are you guys hoping for in the DLC that's supposedly coming tomorrow? What sort of a racing stuff do you want to see? It'll be interesting to see if there's anyone that really says, I want transform races, because I really haven't seen anyone say that yet. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy, subscribe, all that stuff. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.